The greatest threat to them at the moment is probably the roads, and I think that applies to a lot of our travelling wildlife. My name's Kate Wallen and I'm the area ecologist for Forestry England. A pine marten is a carnivore and it's one of our rarest mammals that we've got in the UK. As a result of persecution, of habitat loss, they had been almost wiped out from England and Wales.
I'm Johnny Burks. I'm a supposed to be retired mammal ecologist, and it's been my privilege to be involved in research and monitoring of pine martens for probably 30 years now. They're quite an enigma, really. They have a long bushy tail, they're a beautiful rich brown colour, and they have a gorgeous creamy yellowy orangey coloured chest patch, or bib as we call it.
Forestry England and Vincent Wildlife Trust and Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust got together and identified that the Forest of Dean would be a good place for pine marten reintroduction. So we had a total of 35 pine martens brought down from Scotland, and these pine martens have bred every year. When they were actually released, they all had radio collars on so we could track them, and we found that a third of them actually went off into the surrounding counties. The exciting thing is that we've had some very credible sightings here in some of our Herefordshire woodlands. They're not a big creature and they have to negotiate our roads. Some of them went up to 60 kilometres away from the Forest of Dean from their release site. I mean, I just think that is amazing.
What's important with monitoring is to try and find reliable ways to confirm that we have an established population of pine martens. And we're not at that stage yet in this particular woodland. Nevertheless, it's worth putting out various measures because this is good quality habitat. Pine martens need decent, good quality forests, and forests need pine martens as well. We are learning from research evidence in Ireland and in Scotland that where we can restore healthy populations of pine martens, the grey squirrel tends to go down. The grey squirrels are a problem for biodiversity, but also for growing good timber.
The monitoring stations that we've got here in this wood, they are basically a platform where you put food at one end and a camera at the other. You can often identify a pine marten from the shape of that bib, which is a really handy tool if you can get pine martens on camera. You can identify individuals. And we have fantastic volunteers who basically run the project. We bait the stations every week. Occasionally we will move the platforms to a different location and see what happens.
They're different from most of their close relatives in the weasel family, that they don't have what we call the stink defence. So if they're faced with a threat from a predator like the red fox, their defence is to run up a tree, and that influences their behaviour massively. They don't like to stray too far from tree cover, so that will certainly influence how pine martens move, and therefore habitat linkages with trees are really important for their successful movement. Southern Britain is still essentially deforested, and countries with low woodland cover, pine martens really struggle to thrive and expand. Let's hope that will change in the long term.
We have supported the introduction of an incredibly rare mammal that so few people are ever going to see. We're putting things back into the ecosystem that should be here. My hope for the future of the pine marten is that we will have them breeding in our Herefordshire woodlands outside of the Forest of Dean. That's my real hope.